let's take a quick look at Escudo Navy Deluxe from STG production these days. And as you can see, it's a neat little coin presentation. They, of course, marry the Virginias and Perique together, press them, age them a little bit, tumble them out, spin them into these ropes, and cut them into coins. They tumble right out into some really nice, fluffy, ribbony goodness. So let's pack a pipe full and give it a run, see what we got here, huh? The U.S. Piper with you once again, pardon me. Reach over you there, grab a pipe cleaner. I'm about halfway through this huge KS bowl on this 7LE 616 Oceano. Just a beautiful, beautiful pipe that I don't smoke enough. Would say I'm a little more than halfway down this huge bowl, which is an accomplishment. Smoking the Escudo Navy Deluxe from, of course, it's Scandinavian Tobacco Group, STG, making it these days. And this is my second bowl of it, which you may as well say third for the amount of this one that I've already had. And one of those things I've meant to get to and try, and I just never had. A lot of people would say it's the vapor, to try. And I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's definitely one of them. It's, as I probably tacked on the front there, of course it's spun into a rope. It's combined and pressed. It's supposed to be aged that way a bit. Then they roll it out and spin it into a tight rope and cut that rope into coins, which you saw in the container. And all that work's supposed to just marry everything together really, really well. And it really does seem to. It's got a very, very neatly tucked in flavor profile where there are a lot of nuances you can search out, but it's uniquely very, very well combined and married, and from the beginning of the bowl on, it's very uniform. It does develop a little bit like most of these, especially in a tall pipe like this. As you go down, you do get a little bit more of the natural stoving happening. And I'm convinced there's a little bit of a stoved. I think there's at least 3 Virginias in here. I'm getting hints of citrus. There's a little bit of sweetness, and it looks like there's a little bit of bright leaf. Maybe some lemon. Tobacco, not actual lemon. And there's something a little darker. I'm not sure if it's red or if it's stoved. I'm thinking it might be some lightly stoved Virginia. Which, I guess you could say sort of is red, depending on how it's cured. I don't know, but it's really a nice assortment. And it really has a very uniform overall flavor combined. But just thinking about what makes up that flavor and what you see looking at it, trying to make sense of it, that's what I've come up with. 3 or 4 Virginias. At least 3. And the Perique in it is very, very refined. It's not very peppery at all. There's very little, if any, pepperiness to it. There is a little bit of spice, but it's a more muted, earth-toned, kind of deep underlying spiciness, not like a, it's more of an earthy thing. And I think that with what I'm assuming are some stoved or lightly stoved Virginias, there is a little bit of earthy middle ground to this. That's very nice because there isn't a touch of burley in it or anything like Stonehenge flake. So to accomplish that just with a few Virginias and a Perique is really something. And it's definitely got some citrus hints. Not like it's cased or topped with something overly like that. It's just it's natural. There's a natural sweetness and there's a natural amount of citrusiness to it, and you've got that dark, earthy fruitiness coming out of the Perique. So when you put it all together, it becomes very hard to pick that apart exactly as to what's what because it's so well married. But the overall effect is very nice and very smooth. You can retrohale it and you can tell there's Perique in it, but you don't get that peppery nose burn that you would get with most of them in the Vaper family. Maybe just enough of a hint to confirm that it's in there, but it's just so smooth. It's like it's got some age on that Perique. It's very much fruited out and mellowed. And my initial thoughts were that there wasn't a lot in there. And there probably isn't as much as some Vapers like Elizabethan, but I think more than that, it's just a very smoothed out, matured Perique that's not very edgy. Has like no edginess to it at all. The whole blend is just really smooth. There's no edginess to it. And I've even freight trained it a little bit to see, what the bite situation was. Even when I first popped the 10, I smoked about a third of the bowl, if that. And I just wanted to see what would happen if I chooched it a little bit. And I didn't get any tongue bite at all. There are people that will warn you it does become harsh and it will bite you. But I've had Virginia flakes that did that a lot more than this. I mean, this is pretty tame. It's pretty easy to drive. I don't think you could hurt yourself with it very easily. So not only is it, I think part of the reason it's so well received is that it's a very easy vapor to get to know. It's a very easy one to drive. It rubs out, as you can see in the picture, to nice little curly broken ribbon, fluffy stuff, and it doesn't take much effort to go from the coin to that. A lot of people fold and stuff the coin. Getting to know the flavor. A lot of times I feel like I get the best cross section of the flavor if I do rub one out. So I rubbed it out, and it took very little effort to go to a nice fluffy tobacco. I gave it in this case, today I finally gave it 10 or 12 minutes of tray time. And it was just about right. It probably could have used 15 to be just perfect, but it was fine at 10. And I just toked it, right out of the 10 yesterday. And I knew it was slightly on the damp side, but it was okay. It didn't bite me anymore or anything. And that was part of the test too. Yeah, I'd say we're past the halfway point now, and that's an accomplishment. This is a big honking pipe, the 616 Oceano from 7Illy here. I got big old hands, and you can go to the knuckle with your big finger in this one. See that? Ooh, ooh. No bite. No bite at all. Let it cool down a minute from that. But coffee. Sweet, life-giving coffee. Right back into the green zone. It's an easy one to drive. To me, anyway. Can we talk about how pretty that is, though? I love that blue swirl. And they're all different. They've all got their own little character. But, it's the beauty of the swirly lucite stuff. I'll tell you, it's a very enjoyable smoke. So, I will say it is deluxe. Aptly named, aptly named. Well played, Escudo, well played. And when you see me getting into the bottom half in a bowl this size of a vapor, I feel like it's definitely a notch lighter or milder than, like, say, Elizabethan. If Elizabethan is a little rough around the edges for you, go ahead and try Stonehenge Flake or this Escudo. This Escudo is just really, it's almost impossible to not smoke this and enjoy it. Part of me slightly prefers Elizabethan, believe it or not. I think it's got bigger, bolder Perique in it, and I kind of enjoy that. And it may be the neck hit I've gotten used to off it, which is pronounced, but I've acclimated to it. But Stonehenge Flake is a slower, milder, very kind of, to me, that's one I just sit back and I slow sip it and enjoy it for. I almost can't smoke Stonehenge Flake and not spend an hour and 20 minutes with it. And it's one of the ones I love. And this has joined the holy trifecta, I guess. And it's really a quartet because although technically you can't call it just a vapor because I guess it's a Navy Flake, but I also really like the Peter Stokovy's PS400, the luxury Navy Flake, which doesn't have a ton of Perique in it, but I really like that rum topping, a little bit of sweet casing rum topping with it. It's very affordable, and it's just another one that's just a good relaxing smoke. And that one, I mean, for what you spend for a 10 of the other ones, you could get 4 ounces of it plus. But they're all very good. I would say that 4 would probably be, if you were going to get into vapors. And don't be afraid to come back to the Elizabethan because you would not be the first person to try Elizabethan and decide you hate it. And then come back to it 3 or 4 weeks later and kind of be like, wow, dang, do I like this now? I think I like this now. What the heck? That was my story with Elizabethan. I almost gave the rest of the 10 away twice. I really did. Because I was like, I'm never going to smoke any more of this. I'd had like 3 bowls out of the 10. I was wrong. And that was really the only reason I didn't give it away. Is I was like, I really need to come back to it. I don't feel like I've spent enough time with it to say that I know it. And that was the case. Got 3 more 10s of it coming today. I'll be reordering a Escudo, I can tell you that too. I'm running it a little hard here. But, it's a little On a bowl this deep, you know, I'm sure it's a little damp, a little damper, more humidified now. We're not into the wet bottom or anything, but it brings out the stoved more, and I'm sure it adds some natural stoved hints to it that I like all of it. I like the way it develops, but I like how consistent it is at the same time. And just smooth. Smooth as silk for a vapor. That earthy, deep fruitiness that comes out. Not like over the top smack you in the face fruitiness. It's just that surprising. I didn't expect this level of natural fruitiness out of a Perique that I just popped that is not aged. You know, as far as me cellaring it, like, you know, I haven't had this any length of time, but it feels like I've popped the top on something that's been sitting a couple years as far as the Perique contours in it. So that's an accomplishment. I'm impressed. I think I see what all the hubbub is about. I would say definitely don't wait as long as I did to try it, but don't be afraid to get a hold of some Stonehenge flakes. Some, you know, there's a lot of good vapors out there, and I haven't tried all of them by any stretch of the imagination. But I feel like Elizabethan and Escudo are kind of two ends of things almost in a lot of ways. And there are some that have a whole lot more Perique if you become a Perique fiend. But I feel like that's more the minority of vapor smokers that want a huge amount of Perique. That's almost an acquired taste. And there are blends where you get a little Kentucky in with something like that, and that's really interesting. C&D has something like that. I can't think of the name of the blend right now. But this is beyond reproach. Truly. This would be an excellent first vapor. I feel like if you wanted something that was just pure vapor, no hint of burley, no nothing, no hint of Lakeland essence, you know, which the Stonehenge does have. The Stonehenge, you've got a little more to wrap your mind around, and there's more chances for you to like it, but there's more chances for you to not like some of those added components too. Even though neither one is over the top in that, so I feel like you'll probably like that. But and like I said, Elizabethan, it can be a bit much, especially if you're a newer smoker or haven't acclimated to nicotine very much. But this Escudo, it's very smooth, and I feel like it's an easy driver. I don't feel like you're going to get bit. If you get bit by this, you've probably earned it, or you've got a very tender tongue, which I may very well not have anymore, so keep that in mind too. Anyway, I don't want to make this too long. With the time you save, you can get online and order you some of this, because if you haven't had it, it's good. And if you hadn't had it in a while, remind yourself to reorder a 10 or 2. I know I will be. That is a tasty tobacco. Samuel L. Jackson reference. Little Pulp Fiction humor. Probably very little. The tobacco MFer, do you like it? Yes, I do. And see, I know I'm freight training it a little now. And all I'm getting is more of a stoved, maybe even a little touch of the English shoe leather coming out there from the stoving. But I feel like it's also bringing out a little bit of a stove tobacco that's in there as far as hidden in with those Virginias. And of course, some of that's probably from naturally stoving it in the pipe. But even when you overdrive it, I mean, I'm not waiting very long. I'm almost just take a drink of coffee and slow your cadence back down. It's right back into the green. And it's so smooth that it almost can't really get harsh when you're torquing it. Like many vapors will. Elizabethan will be like, "Whoa, dog, slow down." And you'll be like, "Oh, okay, hold on." And more ways than one. But yeah. My phone decided to ring. Sorry. Anyway, I just came back to say goodbye. Hope you all have a blessed day. Good smokes to all of you. Get a tobacco you love at some point today and spend some time with it. Life is too short. Enjoy it. The U.S. Piper out.